All right, let's dive into one of the wildest, most important things happening in tech right now, the Ouroboros paradox and the very strange new world of synthetic data.
It really does sound like the setup for a sci-fi movie, doesn't it? But this is a very real question that the biggest companies on the planet are wrestling with as we speak. What actually happens when this insatiable student, AI, finishes all of its homework?
So, what's the answer? Well, it hits a wall, a data wall. It's a problem you probably wouldn't expect, but it's absolutely true. The AI models that are changing our world are, quite literally, running out of food.
That giant well of high-quality human-generated text that we've all created on the public internet? Yeah, it's pretty much empty. For years, we've been feeding these enormous models our collective knowledge to make them smarter, but now, they've read it all.
And when I say everything, I mean everything. Decades and decades of books, countless scientific papers, huge news archives, and yeah, basically the entire public web. The buffet is closed, but the AI is still hungry. So, what's for dinner?
Well, the solution developers have come up with is both brilliant and, honestly, kind of unsettling. If there aren't any more human textbooks to learn from, why not just have the AI write its own?
This whole idea is called synthetic data. And put simply, it's just brand new original information, text, images, code, that's created by an AI for an AI. It's not a copy of something a human made, it's something totally new, born from the machine itself.
So here's the key takeaway. We are now walking into an era where today's most powerful AI models are being asked to write the entire curriculum for tomorrow's AI. They're creating their own educational materials, a whole new library of knowledge for their successors to study. And this whole situation creates what's being called the Ouroboros paradox. It's named after that ancient symbol of a snake eating its own tail. And honestly, it's the perfect metaphor for the deep circular problem we're now facing.
This image just forces you to ask a huge question. Does this whole cycle represent infinite self-improvement and perfection, or is it a cycle of self-consumption and ultimately destruction? The answer could literally define the future of artificial intelligence.
You see, there are two completely different paths this could go down. On one hand, the AI could actually get purer. By learning from its own hyperlogical outputs, it might strip away all the messy biases and errors from human text, creating a flawless source of knowledge. But on the other hand, it could degrade. Any tiny flaw in one generation gets amplified in the next, like making a photocopy of a photocopy until the original image is just gone.
And this brings us to the massive debate that's just tearing through the AI community right now. Is this new synthetic data some kind of perfectly clean fuel that's going to rocket AI to incredible new heights? Or is it more like radioactive waste that's going to poison the well for every model that comes after? The optimists? They believe this synthetic fuel is going to create these perfect, idealized examples for AI to learn from, which means the quality will just keep getting better with each generation. The pessimists, though, they're warning that the AI will just be learning from its own flawed copies, leading to this downward spiral in quality they call model collapse.
Model collapse. It sounds pretty dramatic, right? Well, it is. The theory is basically that as an AI ecosystem just keeps feeding on its own output, it starts to forget what the real human world actually looks like. It becomes its own little echo chamber, completely losing touch with the rich, messy, and nuanced reality it was supposed to learn from.
Let me walk you through it. Think about it this way. Step 1 is the original, sharp, human-made data. Step 2 is the first AI generation. It's a pretty good copy, but maybe it has a few tiny flaws. Then step 3 is the next AI learning from that copy, which makes those little flaws even bigger. You just repeat that process enough times, and you end up with a distorted mess that looks nothing like the original.
This entire paradox, it pushes us towards some really big, almost philosophical questions about the future relationship between us and AI. I mean, can AI ever truly break free from its creators?
For as long as AI has been a thing, it's been totally dependent on us, on our language, our art, our data. This whole shift to synthetic data, it's the first real step towards its own kind of informational independence. It's that moment the student starts writing their own textbooks and maybe doesn't need the teacher anymore. So this all leads to the final looming question. Once that snake starts eating its own tail, does it ever stop? In a future that's powered by synthetic data, will AI still need new input from us to stay grounded in reality? Or will it just find a way to create and sustain its own separate world of information? We don't have the answer, but the experiment has already begun.